Hi everybody, Craig here. Welcome to the 4th episode of my 1 vs 4 Age of Wonders 3 playthrough series. In this series, I'm playing against 4 Emperor AI that are on a team against me, and I'm playing as the Shadow Elf Sorcerer, Malus Nightlord. In our last episode, we sent Malus north along with his stack here, which were gradually sort of replacing the Shadow Elf units, not necessarily all of them, but we're starting to incorporate our summoned units, and in this case our Phantasm Warriors here. And then we also have now our rebalanced stack composed of our 2 heroes over here, which include Vraxen the Executioner, our Shadow Elf Necromancer, as well as Virix the Arctic Widow, which is our Theocrat Shadow Elf hero. So things are looking pretty good, and we're gradually expanding our empire, but we do have a lot of work to do this episode. Before I dive into the episode proper, though, I did just want to give a couple of quick shoutouts to a few individuals who left comments on the last episode. The first of those is My Brain Hurts, who left a really excellent comment. Brain essentially mentioned that when I'm using wisps in battle, and this kind of applies to almost any unit that has static shield, it's actually frequently more beneficial to attack with the unit rather than to move up to a unit and put the wisp or the other shadow static shield unit into defense mode. And the reason for that is because if we read this here, every time an enemy unit performs a melee or touch attack against this unit, the enemy unit receives 5 shock damage and has a chance to be stunned. And stunned units essentially can't take any action at all for 1 turn, and they're basically susceptible then to a flanking attack. Excuse me. And so frequently what actually ends up being more beneficial is using the wisp in an offensive manner rather than moving up next to a unit and putting it in defense, and that's almost entirely because of static shield. So when you hit the unit and then it hits you back, that unit has a chance to basically become stunned. And so in that instance, it actually is more beneficial frequently to use an offensive approach rather than defensive approach. And that actually also applies in a sense here to units that we basically put bestow static shield on. So for example, if I throw that on one of my Phantasm Warriors here, which normally don't have it, although they do have inflict shocking, but they don't have static shield. However, were I to use my Shadow Elf Storm Priest to put it on them, that would then be a situation where it may actually be more beneficial to use my Phantasm Warrior in a more offensive capacity rather than defensive. And that's an excellent comment from Brain. And Casper Eklund also left a comment that echoed essentially that same sentiment, that in many instances it's actually more beneficial to use a static shield unit, whether it's a wisp or something else, in a more offensive capacity rather than defensive. And my instinct is always kind of to play it a little safer and be more defensive. So it's good to be reminded that that's not always the best plan. And of course it is situational. Something else that Casper Eklund mentioned is that I should probably think about grabbing basic seafaring in the next few turns here. And the reason for that is because eventually I am going to need it, and at this point I can get it relatively cheaply. So I totally agree with Casper on that one. I think that's a great suggestion. And then another comment that I believe this was from Brain. Basically, when you have a ranged unit that you want to sort of lock down, it actually, especially if you have a unit with static shield, it actually makes a lot more sense to attack again and use it offensively, because that way the unit can't take a step. Actually, it might have been Casper who said this, but in any case, both commenters basically echoed the same sentiment. The point being that if you have a ranged unit that's going to be able to take 1 step away and then hit you with 3 attacks, it makes more sense to kind of attack them and try to stun them with static shield units. So in any case, thank you to both individuals for leaving those excellent comments. That's really helpful to me, especially going forward here, as I'm going to be using probably my wisps and other units that have static shield. So excellent comments there. Okay, so let's dive into this episode. Last time we had basically finished up our turn, so we're going to end our turn there. There's something else I did want to mention, and this is something I was thinking about in the interim, kind of between recording the last episode and now as I'm doing this. I realized that, it would have probably been nice for me to do some scouting over here prior to sending this stack of units over this way. And the reason I say that is because this stack, I ended up kind of not being the most movement efficient as I was moving them over. And had I had a Wisp come over or some other unit scout this out first, though in the way that I did kind of up here, it would have actually probably saved me a lot of movement and maybe made this more efficient. So I just wanted to kind of re-emphasize how important scouting really can be in terms of making sure your movement is efficient, and then also planning out kind of where you want to send your different stacks. Oh, and look at this. We are being attacked. Our scout, I think last episode I said, oh, you frequently are safer in the water. Well, that doesn't matter if you have lost souls that are floating. So we'll just do an auto combat there. So it's never fun losing a scout, but it is kind of to be expected as you're sending the unit in essentially on its own. We do have our vassal city up here, which is pretty cool. Ooh, nice. Our shadow elves are now very happy. That's quite good for us. We now have Summon Fantastic Creature, which is ready to go, so I think we will drop back underground here. And now let's decide if we want to maybe summon that in which stack here. I'm thinking it would probably be most beneficial for Malus, and that's again because Malus has Men Magical Being. So why don't we just summon it right here and see what we get. Oh, kind of unfortunate we got an Obsidian Wyvern. Not the most useful of units. However, because this unit is summoned, I'm not sure if that means I'll be able to heal it or not with Men Magical Being. Let's go back and take a peek at the description of it. So it's Magical Origin Unit. I'm not entirely sure if as a summoned unit that counts as being Magical Origin. I believe so, but I can't be 100% certain about that. However, something that I could do is I could do some pretty substantial scouting with this unit since it can fly. Alternatively, I could throw it on as a base guard and move my Wisp off to do scouting. That might be the better plan. Oh, and look at this. We have a tribute here. Ooh, fantastic. I will take the gold, as we do have quite a bit of mana. So there's one of the nice little side benefits of having a vassal city. And this city also can now join us. I think it's time for you to join my empire. The only thing about that, if I do accept this, is that obviously I won't have any kind of defending force here. And right now there's a stack of 6 units defending the city. So I may not accept it purely because I'm not really at a point where I'm going to be able to easily defend the city. So here's the shadow gate that leads up there. You can see it there. And I'm not really at a point where I'm able to have any units to defend this city. So I'm not going to accept it now. I might wait a few turns and then accept it later. And so we do have to keep in mind that we are starting to get a little bit more on the good side. So I want to maybe do something evil in the near future here. Let's see what else we can summon. I'm going to summon Scales of Fortune now. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I am summoning a lot of units. And the benefit here is going to be that, as you see, all units produced in target-friendly city and all units summoned within the city's borders are 100% more likely to deal critical damage. They also become dedicated to neutral. So that's quite nice because then we're going to have basically more crits. So enough of my yammering. Let's actually get to some battles here. So looks like we've got a celestial pool that needs to be cleared out. So we're going to move Malus up to do that. One thing important to remember here is that we were moving Malus up to clear out... Let's see if I can find it here. I believe this watchtower, which is part of a quest that we have. Let's just take a peek. Raise the watchtower. Right there, you can see it. We still got 4 turns left, which I think should give us plenty of time to get up there, as we have the road. However, I do want to maybe clear a few things out on my way up. So let's see if we can do that. Now, does visiting this get us anything? Adds... Waiting in it will heal living units. Alright, well, we'll send everybody there then, just so that we get the healing. So we'll engage this battle. I'm going to have to think a little bit about how I want to use that Obsidian Wyvern. As a tier 2 unit, it is somewhat expensive, so might not be the most beneficial to have it just basically be a glorified base guard. But... again, I'll have to think about it. So, okay, we've got some decisions to make here because we've still got this Spirit Elemental who is pretty dangerous, actually. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go this way and throw Bestow Static Shield on my Phantasm Warrior. The danger here, though, is that the Phantasm Warrior is going to be very susceptible to the spirit damage coming from the Spirit Elemental. So just as an example here, I guess I'm not quite in range, but that's going to hurt if it hits me quite a bit. So I think what we'll do is we'll kind of back up here. And what I'm hoping happens is that the units move in a bit such that we're able to kind of then do a bit of charging onto them. So let's do that. And let's see kind of what damage we take here. Oof. Yeah, see, look at that. We damn near died. So we have to be real careful because that is not a lot of fun. And this is where having my Theocrat to deal with these Spirit Elementals was kind of beneficial. Okay, I gotta think about this. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move my Storm Priest over here and summon my Lightning Sprite right next to the Spirit Elemental. And then use defense mode. And then I'm going to then drop a heal here on these Phantasm Warriors and move them into these Lost Mariners here. Boy, I have to be really careful in this battle. This is quite tricky. I'm going to need to use my Cavalry probably to take out the Spirit Elemental. I think that's going to be my best plan. Of course, you can see there the retaliation damage is quite high, or at least it's not inconsequential, I should say. So I have to be careful. If I use Sprint here, I can get in range to do some damage as well, so that's good to remember. I think what I'll do is I'm going to throw my Phantasm Warrior up here, and then I am going to attack, and the point there was to stun, exactly like that. And now I can move in like this, do some damage. I can move these guys in as well here to help out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to position my Exterminator such that I'm ready to attack. Now, I suspect what's going to happen is that the Spirit Elemental will either take a step back and light me up and maybe kill off one of my Phantasm Warriors, which would be quite unfortunate. What I'm hoping it does is just kill off the Lightning Sprite, but I guess we'll see here. It may also just move around and try and get a flank or something. Yeah, there we go. Okay, not an issue as this unit thankfully survived and also got the gold medal, meaning that it will get promoted if it lives through this battle, which at this point is quite the if. We aren't going to be... I'm not super confident that that's going to be the case, but we're going to try and make it work. So again, we're going to use our Phantasm Warrior here, and we actually ended up getting the kill, which is fantastic. Okay, so now every unit can basically just beat the heck out of this Spirit Elemental. So now we have to decide kind of how best to approach this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn... Let's see here. So I want to come in with a flank attack here and get the charge hit. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to actually move myself here, do this, get the flanking charge, and then attack this way. There we go. And then now here, what we're going to do is we're going to use all of our movement. Oh wait, why can't we attack? Unit abilities are disabled. Something happened to us there. Oh, we got dazed. That's why. Okay. So we're just going to run off with this unit and try not to die, basically. So we'll just head back this way. And now, can we use a spell, maybe? No, that's not going to help us. So now we can come in and get a nice big attack here with Malus. So let's do that. Oh, that Lucky just kind of messed us up there. That's really a shame. And yeah, everybody else has already attacked. So now we'll just... Wow. Unbelievable. So now we're probably going to lose somebody here. Let's see. I guess, okay, thankfully we had used up all the Spirit Elemental's attacks, which is, thank goodness, because that was kind of scary. Okay, so now let's move over here. We'll get the flank this way. And then we can probably just get the kill here, which is going to be, I think, the safe bet. I suppose I could use Malus here. Yeah, let's do it. Jeez, that lucky. Oh my goodness. Alright, we'll come in with our... Actually, yeah, let's just get the kill with our exterminator here, hopefully. Thank goodness. Boy, that was an ugly, ugly battle. But we got it done. And that's a gain from... That's from this shooting stars here, which is all units gain lucky, and all units that were already lucky gain very lucky. So, quite annoying, but we got it done and we didn't lose anybody, thank goodness. We're now at level 6 with Malus, so now we have to decide what we want to pick as an upgrade. Strong Will would be kind of nice, as that would give us 100% spirit protection along with mind control immunity. However, we already have mind control immunity as the leader, so not necessarily as important. I think we're going to save it for level 7. So we'll save that level up there. We finished researching Dispel, which is also good. Now the question is, do we want to try and maybe do this battle? I'm thinking no. I think we're going to just avoid that one for now. Let's just kind of proceed on upwards. I'm not entirely confident that we'd be able to win this battle against all these elemental units. I think I'd rather just keep heading north. And Forgotten Throne is probably a gain way too powerful for us. Might be able to take on this Beacon of Light depending on what it is, but I think we're going to just continue to kind of do our thing. So we have our Arcane Archer here, who is guarding the city, and we have our other stack over here ready to do some fighting. Again, I'm just trying to think what would be the best plan for this guy. And now let's see, where does this Shadowgate go? I don't remember. Oh, and we haven't actually been through it yet. You know what we're going to do? We're going to send the Wisp over, and we're going to go through and do some exploring. And for now, we're going to send this guy to guard the city. I will eventually probably mobilize him. I just want to... The Wisp is far more expendable as a scout, so I figure a little bit better choice there. And we do have a Heart of the... I think that's Heart of the Tropics. Yes. That might be something nice to eventually get up there with maybe like a Settler or something. Or a Builder at least. And then we can get some extra casting points. So that would be quite nice. So let's go back underground. So now we're going to use our stack here of our 2 heroes. Our Theocrat Necromancer stack. And let's see what we can come up with here for some battles. So we're first going to clear out this larvae pool, which is just spawning shadow demons like it's going out of style. So we need to get rid of that. So let's do that. Now once again, this is going to be a somewhat tricky battle because we do have this Harvester who's pretty tanky, pretty tough unit, a lot of health, tier 3 unit. So we just want to make sure that we don't make any big mistakes here. Just gonna kind of... We also have our human cavalry here at silver medal, which means it's getting pretty close to getting that level up to a gold medal and then evolving to a knight, which would be fantastic for us. So we're gonna use our cadaver as kind of our vanguard unit. Let's just take a peek at movement here. So if we jump in behind our cadaver, we're still gonna potentially get attacked. Now can we try and convert? Not exactly sure. So let's take a peek. Does it have mind control immunity? Okay, it does not. So that's kind of cool. And I know they're dedicated to evil, but I still think it would be fun to have them. So I think maybe we'll give that a shot. So let's jump back here. And then we'll hit him with some Spirit Ray action here. There we go. Get a kill. That's nice. Set our cavalry like this. And our exterminator can come in again as further back up. Now let's see what they do here. Okay. Excellent. Now, can we go for a despair? Yes, we can. So we're not worried about doing that much damage right now. We're just gonna hit him with the despair here. But I think what we might want to do is move up like this, move here. There we go. That frees us up a little bit better. So we'll hit him with some despair, which hopefully is going to make this a little bit... Oh, target can't be affected. Now let's figure out why that is. We do have spirit weakness. Might be because this is a magical origin unit. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, it might be also because it's a monster. Not exactly sure. Let's go back and take a peek at convert. Yeah, I'm not entirely certain why that's not working. I think it might be because convert has to work on like a humanoid unit. In that it's sort of like, you know, you're converting them to your religion, so that would sort of make sense that you can't do it to monsters. If anyone knows in the comments, feel free to leave that below. I think I seem to recall from my Theocrat playthrough that it's something along those lines. But in any case, let's just get the kill then. And let's see. So you know what? We can get the kill with our cavalry. That'll actually be quite nice. We'll come in and get the charge kill. Nice experience bump there. 99 out of the 110 that's necessary. So that's quite good. And then we can also come in and get a nice flank hit here. And then get the finish with our exterminators. And a nice level up for them as well. So, very good battle. No longer have to worry about the shadow demons spawning out of there, which is, again, very, very good for us. And we also have a shield here, which I think I'm going to take just so that my other hero has a shield as well. I think, yeah, Vraxen already has one, so we're going to send Virix up to grab the shield now. That would be good for her, so we'll send her up, grab the shield, equip it. So that's now giving us +1 defense along with just the bonus of having the shield, which is good. Every little bit's going to sort of help in that respect. So we do really want to get Vraxen leveled up, because once he's leveled up, then he'll be able to, we'll be able to raid some of these tombs and try to get some really, really powerful undead units. Okay, so now let's raid the construction resources here. Let's see if we can get something good for one of our cities here. Oh, here we go, and Vraxen actually leveled up to level 6. I never noticed that. Should have applied the level up before the battle. That's okay, though. I mean, it's not going to make a huge difference at this point. So now we can actually try to convert somebody if we want to, and I think I'm going to try for the human foot guard because that's a tier 2 unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to therefore go for some despair. And we got it, which is good. And now we'll move our cadaver in to protect our heroes, of course. And I'm going to let them sort of come into me, I think, because I would like... Now, hang on. If we go over there, we are... So what I wanted to do is use my cavalry here to lock down these archers. The only thing is that if I do that, I'm then going to be susceptible to attack from the foot guard here. I think I can tank it. These units are strong enough. But... yeah, and I want to go right there. Like this. There we go. And then what I'll do is I'll move my Night Guard over there as backup, kind of. And then, you know what, we can actually get the finish there. Oh, well, we could have had it not been for Lucky. And I'm going to move my Exterminator up just to protect Vraxen. Okay, we took a crossbow shot, nothing too crazy. There we go. Alright, so now let's try for a convert here. 66%. Oh, and we failed. That's alright. So now we have the gold medal there, so we are going to get our level up to Knight, which is fantastic for us. So now Vraxen here. I think I would like to get a lot of XP with him here if possible, so we're going to do a big shot of damage here, and we're actually going to get the kill, which is perfect. So now we got some production resources. So we get either an observatory or a barracks. And in this instance, I'm going to go with the observatory because I have the benefit. It's also going to expand our city domain by 1. But I also have the upgrade, which gives me, if I can just go to it, Arcane Study, which is going to give me even more knowledge from it. So that's actually quite valuable. I'm very, very happy with that upgrade. We also now have another mana node in our domain, so even more mana income, which is useful for me since I'm summoning up a storm here, as you guys can see with all the units that I'm summoning. So, okay, we've now got to level 6 with Vraxen. I'm thinking maybe Bane of the Good would be the choice here. That's probably going to be what I'm going to go with, I think. Of course, he isn't leading the stack, but eventually he will be leading his own stack, so... yeah, that's probably going to be, I think, what I'll go with. There we go. So now, I suppose they could head up here and clear this out. Probably not quite at a point where they can clear out the Raven's Keep yet. So let's move this way. There we go. Oh, we have another city here. Looks like it might be Draconian. So I may want to just take that one by force, but I'll have to think about it. And here we go. We've got now our Human Knight, which is fantastic. Very good for us. So now we're gonna be fighting this fort. Now the only thing here is that there's a wall on this fort, and we have to fight these Archon units. And they're very tough, if I remember correctly. Especially the Saint. The Saint has basically lesser resurrect, which means that a target corpse of a friendly unit is brought back to life and heals 50% health. This ability can only be used on units of tier 2 and below. So I have to remember that that's going to potentially happen. And then that wall is going to complicate things a little bit. However, I think we can do this one. We're going to maybe have to use our cadavers creatively. But I think we'll be okay. Now, they are particularly strong against the undead, so I'm going to have to watch out for that. So we'll drop a heal on our cadaver. You know what, I'm even going to... I think I'm even going to throw Bestow Iron Heart on our cadavers as well. There we go. Now, I believe that's going to make them, yeah, almost immune to spirit damage. Of course, because they're undead, they have some weakness, but I think that's going to be helpful. I suppose I could have maybe put that on my knight, but I think with the knight, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Whereas the rest of these units, I'm gonna have to figure out kind of how to get in there without getting obliterated. Oof. Taking some hits here. Nothing too insane, but not a lot of fun. So we're gonna throw Touch of Faith on our knight. So we're gonna use our cadaver, and you know what? We may actually even just pull everybody else back. Try and get out of range here, more or less. I think that might be the game plan here. Let the cadaver kind of soak up hits. Go for the gate a bit. I will kind of leave my knight here, though. Yeah. That's going to be the plan. So let's see what they do. I'm assuming they're going to light up my... oh, nice. Lucky just saved my knights a little bit. Okay. So now they can get up on the walls. However... because these are considered, I think, infantry. Yeah, so they have wall climbing if we are so inclined. However, if we do that, we're then going to be engaged in melee combat. That being said, we could go up right here. Actually, yeah, let's do that. We're going to go up right there, and that's because we have the archers that'll engage us. So I think that'll actually be quite nice. You know what? We could come in here and just do a devastating charge on the gate. That might not be the worst plan ever. And we do have healing as well, which I may have to use on Virix herself. We could use Stiffen Limb on somebody. Don't know if that's going to be of tremendous benefit, but I think we'll throw it on the Foot Soldier, just so it has less melee, just to make this battle maybe a little bit easier if possible. We're going to come in and charge the gate with our Knight. Get our Exterminator ready, and our Night Guard here. And we'll sit back here with our two heroes. Okay, that was what I was expecting. A little bit of arrow action. Boy, we're taking a lot of damage. Ooh, that was maybe not the best plan. It would be a real shame to lose those knights here. Do not want that to happen. Now, if we run off, we're going to take an attack of opportunity. I suppose with Virix here, I could run up and throw a heal down. The only problem is then these archers are going to just obliterate. Yeah, I kind of put myself in not the greatest situation here, actually, now that I kind of look at it. What kind of spells do we have here? Smite, I don't think that's going to do much for us. No, that's not going to be of any real use. So if I try to run off, I could back out, take the attack of opportunity, which fortunately won't hurt me like that much. I think we'll do that. There we go. We'll turn that way. we'll throw a heal down and put ourselves in defense mode. And then you know what? We could actually come in with the exterminators and get the kill. That might not be the worst plan. Or try to. Let's try it. Nice. Okay. Little switcheroo there. That ended up working out quite well for us. And then I'm also going to throw my Night Guard here up front a bit. There we go. Had to think that one through a little bit. So they're using some healing. Now they're taking some damage. But now we can just keep hitting these guys. There, we got the kill there, which is perfect. And now our Shadow Elf exterminators are not the greatest of shape here. What kind of damage do they do? Yeah, that's not fun. They really do hurt with their... Oh my goodness, and that lucky too. So we're kind of running out of abilities here. So the question is now, do I just sit in defense mode maybe? I think maybe we'll do that. And with... So we could do a Divine Protection maybe as well. Alternatively, we could use a Smite to try to just do some big damage here. But again, they have a lot of Spirit Protection, so not the most useful. We really are in a situation where the types of damage that we do is not working out so well for us. The other option is I move over and try to get a convert here. The only problem is that's putting me in a very dangerous position with Vyrix, and I don't want to lose her, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, Slayer's Doubt isn't really going to help all that much, although it is going to limit their number of attacks, so let's do that. There we go. Oh, I guess it doesn't limit their number of attacks. I thought it did, but I guess not. Let's just double check. So it lowers their movement, but I guess that doesn't lower their actual number of attacks. Oh well, not that big a deal. So now I can actually go and attack these saints, thank goodness. And I am going to hit the gate here, I think. There we go. And now I will light up the archers a little bit more. Hit them with a Despair, which is a good thing. Move our Night Guard in. And now what kind of damage do they do here to Vyrix? I don't think they'd be able to get the kill. Suppose I could move in and see if I can get the convert. Let's just see here. 48% chance. Nice, we got it, okay. Okay, that made it a lot easier for us, having that unit converted over. There we go. Now, they are dedicated to good. That was a tricky battle, and I definitely didn't do that the cleanest. However, ooh, here we go. We got some good items. So, Helmet of Orc Anger, which gives Warcry, and we also got a Fire Wyvern Egg. I'm going to take this almost more so for that Fire Wyvern Egg than anything else. That's quite nice to have. And I suppose I could move Vraxen over to grab it. So we will equip our Warcry helmet, and we will also equip or grab our egg, and then in 10 turns we'll have a flying mount. So let's see now. So the unit isn't super happy with us. Only minus 200, so not that bad. I think we can work with that. So we'll keep this unit around. That's not a huge morale penalty or anything. So we will hang on to that unit. And we now had a level up. We're now at level 8, so that's quite nice for us. So let's see what we want to do here. So we've got healing and convert already. Holy Champions would probably be a good choice, I think. So we'll do that. So that's going to give our all units in the stack Holy Champion. So for example, now if we look at our Knight, Holy Champion deals an additional +5 fire damage against undead, monster, and dedicated to evil units. That's going to be great if we're fighting additional shadow demons or anything like that. So I'm very happy to take that. Okay, so now let's do our research. Ooh, Arcane Binding. This is a pretty decent spell. Invades the psyche of a summoned unit or unit of magical origin in the astral plane, giving the caster control of this unit for 2 turns. This spell can only be resisted by units that are immune to mind control. This is the one I think a few episodes ago Casper Eklund had left a comment suggesting looking into, because it would be quite useful for me against shadow demons. I think I'm going to hold off on it, though. At this point, I do have expansionism as a choice here. Outposts gain an additional plus 20 production, and their population growth is doubled. I think I am going to... I do kind of want to get basic seafaring, but I think I'm going to do summon Node Serpent, because that is a very, very strong unit, and I think it would be nice to have those tier 3 units. So we're going to do summon Node Serpent. When that's finished, I think then I'll do basic seafaring. So we now have the ability to produce something else in our throne city, as we finished the production of... What did we finish? Our storehouse. Let's see here. We could make a temple. Public baths would be kind of nice. A stone wall. Is there anything that's going to end up in our domain in the next turn here, or in the next growth cycle? Doesn't look like it. So I'm not super concerned about expanding our domain right away. Let's do public baths. We eventually want to get the a palace in our city. And so, okay, we've got... Malus has already moved. And let's go back here to Yathlon. Now we got to figure out our production. So let's do a... Maybe let's do a laboratory. Again, we want to take advantage of getting as much knowledge income as we can. And we're going to end our turn there. So a few tricky battles there, and I had to really, really think about what I was doing. Again, not some of my cleanest work, but we got it done, and we didn't really lose anybody that... so I'm ultimately pretty happy with it. As we're moving up here, I think it'll be good to maybe grab this thing and level up all our units. So this column of champions, if we bring the whole stack onto it, we'll all get a level up. So that would be good for Malus and his group. And obviously next turn we're going to move up here, and depending on what the city looks like, we may just go and invade it. I'm trying to think. So Draconians would be kind of nice to have in some respects. However, I do want to get some evil points, and it might be the Draconians who are going to be the ones who have to suffer my migration wrath. Oh, nice. We got better at governing High Elves. So now I have to decide what I want to do. I think we'll do Shooting Grounds, give High Elf Longbowmen and High Elf Hunters +1 range damage. I think we'll take that. The military upgrade. They still want to join us. Again, I don't have anybody up there that's really going to make that viable for me to do. Let's go this way. Okay, and we've got a hostile, appears to be a Tigran city. Okay. It's good to know. So let's go back to the Shadow Realm here. And so we've now got our Scales of Fortune. And I'm thinking I'm going to probably just put it here, because this is the city closest to where I'm going to be summoning things. So I think we'll do that. There we go. And now we can start working on perhaps another Phantasm Warrior. That might be the ticket there. Although we could do a Fantastic Creature, I suppose. 3 turns for our Node Serpent. Yeah, we'll do the Fantastic Creature. Okay. So now we want to just basically keep heading north. I think we're going to just ignore this for now. And we are 1 turn away from getting there, basically. So we can afford the detour here to grab this while we're on our way up. So let's do this battle. We're going to bring the whole stack in, even though we're losing a bit of movement. But it's going to give us the potential to level everybody up. And obviously we have to watch out for these spiders, as we really don't want to get webbed at an inopportune time. So I think what I'm going to do is... Oh, and here we go. So... Oh, and this is... Okay, I forgot about this. So our irregular unit has evolved into a Shadow Elf Infused, which is a tier 2 melee unit. And it kind of is like the upgrade of that unit. If you look, it has Shadow Shift. It has Inflict Mark by Shadows. So this is a really interesting unit. Armored, and it has a shield. Very, very good. Let's take a peek at its level up So it looks like we don't get anything in particular until elite level, or anything of note besides just extra damage, until we hit elite, where we get inflict chilling. So that's pretty cool. I do, literally, I do like these units quite a bit. That is very neat. I'm quite happy that they evolved into them. So, alright, so let's figure out now, how do we want to approach this battle? What I'm thinking here is, okay, we're going to use our Storm Priest, and we're going to do our Static Shield upgrade onto our Phantasm Warrior. We're going to send Malus back, and we're going to move our cavalry in like this. And we'll also bring our Phantasm Warrior back there. And then we're going to chill in defense mode and let them come at me here. There we go. Okay, they're moving in, moving in. So once again, we do have to watch out for these pesky dread spiders. So if we move back one, and then back up once more like this. Yeah, let's just light up the dread spiders here. And then same story there. Now everybody else can just kind of hang out. Just make sure everybody's turned the way we want them. There we go. And then we will put ourselves in defense mode and let them come at me. Now again, I'm expecting... Okay, thank goodness we resisted. We resisted both. Fantastic. Alright, now we're fine. It was just a matter of making sure that we didn't get hit by the webbing. So we'll get the kill with Malus. Kill off the Marauders here, which frees up our Phantasm Warrior to move in and get a flanking hit here. Perfect. Now we can move over and attack the Dread Spider babies. And we can probably kill off the Marauders. Yep, no problem. So now it's just the spider that's left. And it suicided itself on my Phantasm Warriors. No problem at all. And a nice level up for everybody, which is excellent. And Malus is now level 7. So that's quite nice for Malus. So now we could get Phase, which is quite a powerful ability. Especially if you need to jump in or out of danger. Inflict Stun is pretty powerful as well. And the best part about that is melee and ranged attacks can do it. I think I'm going to take that. I'm going to take Inflict Stun. Especially for those ranged attacks. I really like that. And you know what? I will take Phase as well. And that'll do it. Alright, so now let's head back up this road some more. We do have another one of these. Oh, and look, we got a couple of battles here we can do. So we've got some Archon units to deal with, and we've also got some Shadow Demons. And we're going to want to clear this larvae pool out as well in the near future. So let's take our cavalry, we'll move over and engage the Shadow Demons and get rid of them. We don't want them wandering around, that's for sure. Okay. So now the question is, do we go with the Bestow Static Shield or do we just kind of go in for the damage? Well, we're not quite able to get right up in there. I think what we'll do with Malus here is we'll throw a heal on our other Phantasm Warriors who are not in the greatest of shape. Our Exterminators are now gold medal, which means that they have Wrapped in Shadows and projectile resistance, which is fantastic for them. So I think we'll go in for the Shadow Demon Larva. Do a big, big hit there, as you can see. And then you know what? Let's just move in and get the kill. Like that, no problem at all. And then we'll move in. We'll just kind of charge in like that, pretty much. There we go. Yeah, nothing too painful there. And so we can move in, try and get a stun maybe. Got it. Yeah, Inflict Stun is very, very good. Very happy with it. We'll bestow a Static Shield just for some experience. And the cool part is, too, that if we look at this once again, I think we looked at this in a previous episode, but Wrapped in Shadows will also affect, so it projects an aura of projectile resistance, which affects this unit and all adjacent units with the same owner as the source. So you can see here we've got projectile resistance, but you can see that we've got this kind of little like purple cloud effect. So if we move a unit in next to it, just for humor's sake here, we won't do it, but if we do, actually we might as well with this unit. So now you can see there, now this unit has acquired projectile resistance. So that is really, really cool. Basically, this is like a mobile little protection unit now, which is very neat. Let's throw on a Shadow Shift there, and then we'll move in and obliterate, get the lifesteal. Very cool. I quite like these Shadow Elf Exterminators when they're leveled up. That is really neat. And so now the question is, do we also want to do this battle? So this is another one with the fort. We would have an Archon Paladin, which is the Tier 2 Cavalry unit. Has Holy Champion, Undead Slayer, Evil Slayer, dedicated to good. A lot of Spirit Protection. I think we can do this battle without too much trouble, especially now that we have that upgrade. So we'll move Malus in to engage the battle. We just have to remember, of course, that these archers hit pretty hard. Now, fortunately, there's only one of them. So basically, we just have to deal with them, and then we're okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll use a lightning sprite here real quick. And the exterminators are probably going to do the bulk of the heavy lifting here. And yeah, we're going to throw a heal on quick. Our infused are going to probably have to chill kind of back. So I think what we'll do is we'll just move our units kind of up in like a little column here, basically. I'm going to keep the infused at the back just so that they're a little safer. Yeah, that projectile resistance is fantastic. And the fact that it applies to the other units around it is just fantastic. There we go. Extra damage there done. Quite nice. Move in and do some damage. And then I think what we'll do is we'll move in like this. And like this. There we go. And now Malus himself can come in and do a little bit of damage as well. Oh, and we got the stun. That's perfect. Okay, so let's try and get the stun again if we can here. Oh, and we got it. Boy, that is just unbelievably powerful. Okay, and there we go. Now our range unit's down. We don't have to worry nearly as much. So now I think what we'll do is we'll actually go right here and then basically put ourselves in defense mode and see if they come out to attack me or not. Yep, exactly what I was expecting. Wow, they climbed their own wall. That's pretty bizarre. Well, let's take full advantage of that if we can. And we can hit them with some damage here. And we can actually hit them with some more damage here. We got a stun as well, so now we can stab them. We'll kill the foot soldiers here if possible. Not quite, but close. And our Phantasm Warriors could flank around. I think we're just going to hold off, though. There we go. No worries at all there. And now I think what we'll do is we'll actually move right up, and we'll try and stun the Paladin. We did get a stun, thank goodness. That's good. Extra damage. That Lucky is just annoying as all get out. There we go, got the kill. And now we can move around and flank like this. And then we can probably... I think we'll just end the turn there, and then we can get the finish here. The subsequent turn. So now we'll use Malus again and go for another stun. And we got it. Boy, oh boy. Giving Malus stun is fantastic because it affects the ranged attacks as well. Okay, and here we go. We got some items finally. Big Beetle. We'll take that. Shield that gives us more resistance. Why not? And some extra gold. Sure, I'll take all those. We don't really have any items for most of our heroes besides getting a few shields there with our other stacks, so I will take what I can get my hands on. and we'll regroup our stack. So now next turn we're going to go finish this mission, which again, we still have 3 turns to do. So we'll go attack here, raise the watchtower, then we'll come back and grab this catalyst, as well as we'll clear out the Shadow Demon larvae pool there. Alright, now back up here. So we want to know what's going on over here. So let's use our little Archon here to make contact. Okay, and they are hostile, so that means we can stroll right on in. Let's see how strong they are. Oh yeah, we can take them out, no problem at all. We'll move our little archer in as well. So I noticed there's no city wall, so we should be able to do this okay. Of course, we have to keep in mind that they have fire damage here. We have 2 range units that do fire damage, so we have to watch out, as we are susceptible to that, being that we are Shadow Elves, but I think we will be just fine. And, you know, it might be nice to try and grab maybe this Draconian Elder or something like that. I think that would be quite nice. So we'll drop a heal, and I think we'll also throw a Touch of Faith on our Knights. So our Knights aren't going to be susceptible to the fire damage because they are human. Shadow Elf Exterminator needs to get in there as well. Alright. So again, the big concern is really just killing the units that do a ton of fire damage. And the Knight can kind of... Well, we can use the Knight here to Devastating Charge the Hatchling, which I think will be a good move. Of course, now I moved in the way, which wasn't the smartest thing, but... do some damage there, and then we'll just sit in front of our hero. So we'll move up a little bit. There we go. And then with this unit, we will advance like this. Now we're going to just chill. So I'm expecting Vraxon's going to get attacked. Yeah. Okay, no worries. We just kind of tanked the damage as we needed to. And now... Ooh, and we're not quite able to get in there. So I think what we'll do is we'll throw a Bestow Iron Heart there, and then we can charge in and get the flanking hit. But I think what I'd rather do is actually go in this way, even though it's not a flank. I'm a little bit safer that way, as I'm not exposing my butt to the Crushers as badly. Okay. And then, now we need to get rid of these Temple Guard. They're problematic. Because they're protecting these hatchlings, so... Oof, yeah, I don't really want to do that. I could move in, take 1 attack from them, and then kill off the hatchling, but that does put my knight in some danger. So I think... I am worried, though, that they're going to all gang up on my exterminator, but I think it's strong enough to tank it. So we're going to just trust here. Okay, yeah, no worries. We're fine. Now, as for a convert, I was maybe thinking that it would have been good to grab those elders. However, in this instance now, I think what we'll do is we'll go for the Temple Guard here. Yeah, we got a really good chance and no problem at all there. And so now I'll move up like that. Do some big damage here and get the kill, no problem. And everybody else has pretty much done something already, so we will move in and get the kill with our cadavers. There we go. So we got these Draconian Temple Guard. Now the question is, what do I do with this city? Do I convert it or do I leave it? You know what? I might actually leave it as Draconians, now that I think about it. I could migrate it over to Shadow Elves. That would give me minus 100 alignment, bring me perfectly back to neutral. I think, though, I'm actually going to absorb it. And the reason for that is because it might actually be nice to have some Draconians. As I've got the fire weakness, this way I have units that are actually protected against fire, so that would kind of cancel out a bit. So I think I'll do that. I'm going to look for evil points in another way. So we'll move in like this. And now we do still have these units to deal with, so we'll just tell the unit to just chill in the city, basically. And that's going to do it for our turn. So let's end our turn there. Okay. So I'm looking forward to getting this quest done. That'll be good. Building our relationship again with this city up here. And continuing to grow our stacks, as getting these level ups is very nice. So for our Phantasm Warriors here, let's take a peek. I'm really looking forward to them getting to elite rank where they get shock protection and then they also get tireless. So tireless in particular will be really good. That means that basically they don't use any of their they don't use up any of their movement or attacks or whatever on attacks of opportunity or retaliation. So that makes them really good kind of just upfront battlers. So, let's see what else we got going on. Okay, and we are getting attacked here, so some Shadow Demons came, I guess, spawned and came at us. So that's nice. We'll just get some extra experience. Sure, why not? Whoops. Alright, and that also gives us an opportunity to drop a quick heal here on our other Phantasm Warriors. And with these guys, I will throw a static shield onto our Phantasm Warriors there. And I'm going to send in our Phantasm Warriors to do the bulk of the work here, as I don't want our other units taking any more unnecessary damage. There we go. And of course I can heal those units with my mending ability, my mend magical being, so I'm less concerned about them. Of course I did take quite a bit of damage with that one Phantasm Warrior, so maybe I actually should have sent my other units in to help. You know what? We will send up our Exterminator as well. And let's see, can we hit the... No, we can't. But we can get the kill. Yeah, no problem there. And then, you know what, we can do a little bit of damage here. Let's do that. There we go. Ouch. Not too bad. And there we go. Perfect. Okay. That took care of that. No worries there. So now, yeah, like I said, we'll run over, clear out the watchtower, raise it, and then work our way back. All right, and here we go. We're being attacked by some more Draconians, who I'm going to probably try and convert, maybe, and grab that charger. I do like the chargers quite a bit. All right, so let's see. We've got some healing we can do. Here, our Exterminators could use a little bit of health. This is a good opportunity to do that. And our archers here, you can see even with the morale, negative morale, it's still fairly innocuous, not really that bad. And there's our little cadavers. There they are. They're just fine. They're not hurt or anything. And we've got our Temple Guard, our new Temple Guard unit. Night Guard over here. We'll move our Knight up. There we go. Alright. So we're going to send our Cadaver in just to soak up some hits. Meanwhile, with everybody else, we're just going to gradually kind of advance here. The charger still has quite a bit of movement, so maybe we will hang back just a touch with our heroes. Okay, there comes the charger. So now what I'm going to do is I want to try and get Despair on the charger. There we go. And then I'll move in and let's see if we can get a convert. 91% chance. Excellent. So that was really good. We also now finally hit level 7 with Raxon, which is excellent. And let's see here. Yeah, we'll just come in and get the kill with our Knight. There we go. Excellent. Just like that, we got a unit, and we also We got a unit, and we also took out the last remaining vestige of resistance against our conquest of this city. So now we can level up Vraxen here, and of course we are at level 7, which pretty much always means we're going to grab Greater Reanimate Undead. So that's what we're going to take there, which is fantastic, because now we can go raid these tombs. Where are they? Tomb here, and then there was another tomb down here. Yes, we can go back and raid those tombs, which is going to be very, very good for us. We can also take a peek at what's through this shadow gate while we're up here. Maybe we can even clear out this beacon of light, since we're in the neighborhood. And so we've got this little stack here. Nice to have a few kind of units there. So maybe we'll clear this out real quick before we leave, just because it's in the city domain here. So we will use one of our units to just engage the battle. And here we go, an opportunity for some evil points, so we'll take it. That's quite nice. All right. So we're going to move up with our cadaver. Now again, here come these wisps, and we don't want to put ourselves in a position where the wisps can lock down more than one unit. And this was actually a comment as well. When dealing with wisps, it's good to keep your units spread at least 2 apart, such that one wisp can't lock down multiple units. And so we'll do this. And Vraxen, I think we will... It's probably going to go for a hero, I'm guessing. Actually, you know what? I probably should... You know what? Okay. Unfortunately, it is going to lock down 2 units, but I just want my units safe, so we're going to back up like that. Yeah, and there we go. I figured they'd go for the heroes. Not a big deal, though, because we can just move in and basically do that, and then this. There we go. And now we're just fine. Move in and get the kill on that wisp. There we go. And now we'll just drop a quick heal undead on our cadaver. And then we're going to charge right in with the cadaver like that. End our turn there. And now we can maybe do a little bit of healing before the battle is over here. And so if we look here, we've got our exterminator's got a little bit of health off. Actually, not really that necessary, but we'll still do it just for the extra boost from that. Whereas for Vraxen here, I think we'll just kill off the Phantasm Warrior that way. There we go. Okay. Looking good so far. Okay. So now, I think we'll head down this way. Again, ideally, we want to move on back and grab that tomb. But we could also go see what's in this beacon of light while we're here. And that'll be very shortly in the city's domain. So could be worth maybe just doing a quick little peek in there. I'll send this temple guard out here. I want to just go see... Ooh, look at this. Okay, we've got some units that need to be dealt with. So we'll send our archer up to guard the city. In the meantime here, we're going to just pop through the shadow gate. Okay, so that comes out right next to this city, which is good to know. Probably some draconians over here as well, as it looks like we've got some volcanic terrain. So there may be a draconian city there. And we're going to go back and guard up our city. Alright, so that does it for kind of what's going on over here. Now if we move back this way, we do want to go clear this out, so we will do that. And we'll move our exterminator here to engage this battle. So we'll do manually. And I think once we have this done, we can then raise the tower, and that will give us, or finish the quest for us, which is good. Okay. So let's use let's use Static Shield here on our Phantasm Warriors. And we're going to send in these Phantasm Warriors here. Like this. put ourselves in defense mode, and then we'll do that. And we're gonna give ourselves a little bit of project. Oh, nice, we got the shock. There we go. Okay, perfect. Oh, that static shield is nice. We can do some big damage to the farmer there. Move in and get the kill here, no problem, assuming no lucky. There we go. We can take a step forward. Actually, we'll take 2 steps forward and do some damage. There we go. We can move in and hopefully get the kill, no problem there. And that's almost everybody's moved. So we'll give ourselves projectile resistance, not that we need it. There we go. Alright, that's taken care of. So now, let's just make sure this is the right watchtower. I'm 90% sure it is. It is, okay. And now we're going to raise it, and that's going to give us a peace treaty and an archer unit. So we will proceed to raise the tower. There we go. And I will take this reward. It is going to give us some positive alignment. However, we did get a little bit of evil when we killed off some of those units. So I'll take the reward. So there's our Arcane Archer. And with this main stack here, I'm going to just basically head back this way. So now the question is, what do I do with this Arcane Archer? I noticed there's some gold down there, so maybe we'll go grab that. Yeah, there we go. We can also do a little bit of exploring over here, as I notice I don't know exactly what's in this little dark area. And I think what we're going to do... Oh yeah, we have a level up here with Malus, so that's quite nice. So we're now at level 8. I'm not really seeing anything I'm super pumped about having. It might be nice to give Malus floating, and that way eventually I could just have a stack of all floating units with Phantasm Warriors and maybe eventually Node Serpents or something like that. So yeah, you know what? We'll do that. We'll give them floating, and then that'll be good for that. Level up. There we go. Now, I do obviously want to do this battle, so I think we'll do this, and then we'll call it an episode. We can finish our production and everything else afterwards. Okay, so let's see here. We can charge in on the wisps. Ooh, they got lucky there. There we go. And you know what? Let's just throw a static shield up. Why not? Malus, we can move back here. Malus is going to get attacked for sure. That's almost a guarantee. So we want our other units in position. So that's one away. So we want our other units in position to be able to help out, because the phase is going to hit Malus almost guaranteed. Oh, nope. Okay, went in for my cavalry. That's just fine. Alright, so we'll move in like this and do a bit of damage. Then we'll try and get the kill. We did. No problem there. So now I think we'll move in back like this, and then go for the kill, go for some damage, I should say. And then we can move in here, do some damage to that wisp, get the kill on this one. And now we've just got the one left, which is going to probably just attack my exterminator, I'm guessing. Nope, going for the hero. Okay. Not a huge deal. And so, do some damage there. And yeah, we'll come in like that. Come around here. Do a flanking hit. Nicely done. Okay. So that takes care of that, and we also got us some additional casting points, which is great. Oh, and fantastic. We now have our Summon Fantastic Creature ready to go early because of that. So we'll summon it in the domain of this city, and the reason for that is because obviously we have our enchantment on the city, so let's summon it there. Okay, and we now have a Fire Wyvern, and this Fire Wyvern, if we look, should have, yeah, Scales of Fortune, 100% more likely to deal critical damage, so that's quite nice. Dedicated to neutral. So we'll have to figure out what to do with that unit, but it is nice to have it there. So in 2 turns, we're going to have our Node Serpent. So I think we'll end our turn there. We're going to just zoom out and take a look. So now we've got this other city, which we're in the process of absorbing. very shortly, I imagine we're going to have the city of Chiron. Let's just zoom back in here. Yeah, we're probably going to have them as a vassal relatively soon, I'm guessing. So all in all, going very well. We're going to save this one here. This is episode 4. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.